Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet our 2-day blanket. The yarn that I'm using is Bernat blanket in perfect phasing, and the color that we're working with is deep teal. You'll need a 9mm crochet hook or the hook size needed to obtain the gauge, and this is a gold metal streamline hook from Furls Crochet. This blanket pattern uses the Suzette Stitch, and we have 3 different sizes in the blanket: small, medium, and large. And you're going to be using the exact balls required for each size. So the small size we'll be showing in today's tutorial uses 4 balls exactly. Our medium will use 6 balls and the large 8 balls. And now you can choose whether you want your blanket to start with the darker blue or start with the lighter blue. We did our medium-sized blanket starting with the dark shade, so I'm going to start with the lighter shade in this tutorial. So we're going to begin with a slip knot, and we'll put that on our hook. And for our stitch pattern, you want to chain out a multiple of 2 stitches. I've calculated all the math for you in this pattern. So just follow along with the size you're making, but if you do want to alter the sizing, you will work a multiple of 2. So I'm going to chain out a total of 94. And you want to make sure that your chains aren't too tight. So try and do a nice, consistent, loose stitch. So this blanket is worked from the side across. So your chain now is going to be the length of your blanket. So now in the second chain from the hook, we're going to work into the back bumps. I know with this fluffy style yarn, it is hard to see them. So if you're really struggling, just work into the back loop of the chain. But you can sort of feel with your hook to get into that back bump, and we're going to work a single crochet. The next chain, we're going to work a double crochet. So now when working a Suzette stitch, we typically work a single, double, skip a stitch, but for the starting row here, we're not going to do that. We're just going to alternate between single and double so that we don't have any gap on this starting chain. So we'll work a single and then a double, and we're going to keep repeating that all the way across, but we do have an odd number now that we're working across because we chained that total of 94, but then we work into the second chain from the hook. So we end up with 93 stitches. So we want to end the row with a single crochet. For our single, we're going through, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Your double crochet is yarn over, go through the back bump, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And if your chain has been too tight, you will get a pull happening because your stitches are going to loosen up. So if you feel like your chain is too tight as you start working, like your work is like starting to curve, like the chain is tighter than the stitches, can always try again, even if you need to use a bit larger hook to do your chain, just so that you get that your chain is nice and even with your stitches. So I'm going to continue working across my chain, and then I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so I'm coming to my last stitch, and we're going to work a single crochet. And I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now in our first stitch, we're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet. We're then going to skip the next stitch. And if it's hard to see, you can always stick your finger through. You can see this is a stitch, so we're going to the next stitch. And that should be in the single crochet from the previous row. And we add a single and a double. So now we're into that Suzette stitch pattern where we work a single and a double together, and then we skip a stitch. So we're skipping the next stitch, which is a double crochet from our previous row. So you'll notice that it does bump up a little bit more than this stitch. So we'll do a single and a double. Skip the next stitch, single, double. So now as you work this, we're going to continue with this stitch pattern across, and we will be ending again with a single crochet. So I'll work across this row and then I'll meet you up at the end. Okay, so I'm coming to the end. I have 2 stitches remaining. So we're skipping the second last stitch and we're finishing with a single crochet in our final stitch. Chain 1 and turn. So our chain 1 is not included as a stitch throughout this pattern. And now throughout we're going to be repeating row 2. So we start with a single double in the first stitch, and then we always end with a single in the last stitch. So skip, single double in the next, skip the next stitch, single double in the next. So now as you finish this ball, the next ball, what you're going to do is start with the dark so that the colors always blend together. So now if you find your center, so as you finish, you're going to then start from the center of your next ball, and then this ball you'll be ending with the light blue, so then you'll be starting with the light for the next ball. So you'll be alternating between going from the outside and then going from the inside. And how I like to join my yarn is with a thumb join. Now you can just knot this yarn as well, and it will knot well, this style of yarn. So for the thumb join, I like to wrap the yarn around my thumb 2 times. The third time, I'm going to go between my thumb and the tails. I'm going to take my little tails, I'm going to tuck them, I'm going to give that a nice pinch, and then I pull. And then just don't yank that too tight that you rip your yarn, because I know that can happen. So what we'll do is we'll continue alternating this way. So we'll go through this ball, then we start on the center, and then we start on the next, and just continue working in your rows, and I'll meet you up at the end for the fasten off and weave in tails portion. Okay, so I'm just finishing off the blanket. So again, we worked until we finished our 4th ball, so I just have this small amount left. But what you want to do is work the blanket until you can finish a row. So if you end up not being able to complete your final row, just pull back and finish off on your last full row that you can complete. So at this point, I'm going to fasten this off. Just pull that through, and then you can take your yarn needle for bulky yarn and we can weave this tail in. So you're going to weave through the stitches, working one way. And then we're going to go back in the opposite direction. Okay, you're going to do that with your starting tail as well. Just make it. You can always weave it back again if you're worried that it may come out with washing. And you can see we've started with the light, we've gone to dark, light again to dark, and finishing off with the light. So you can block your blanket now to finish it off if you want. Wet your blanket in some lukewarm water, let that set, add a little bit of wool wash or mild detergent, and you can lay it out on your blocking mats, but that's of course just optional. If you don't want to do the blocking, you can just wash it in your mild detergent before gifting, and you can add a personalized tag if you want to finish off the blanket. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the pattern and the yarn links. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.